If you are an adult and you believe you have autism or you are on the spectrum, maybe you have Asperger syndrome and you're wondering, should you have a diagnosis? Well, we're going to try to help you answer that question with 7 answers. 7 reasons why I believe you should be diagnosed or why you should go in and at least have an evaluation. Now, when I say go in, I mean you go in and talk to somebody who is qualified, professional, who is capable of accurately diagnosing autism and Asperger syndrome. How do you find that person? Well, the way that I found that person is I looked for somebody who specialized in autism. Because there are a lot of people out there, a lot of people who are professionals, they're psychologists, psychiatrists, and they do a lot of diagnostic work, and autism is just one of them. Well, I wanted somebody who specialized in autism. Basically, that's all they did, just autism all day, every day. Because I knew that they would be able to catch me if I was faking it one way or the other. If I was maybe even unconsciously pretending to be autistic when I wasn't, or unconsciously pretending not to be autistic when I was. I wanted somebody who would pick up on that and understand who they were talking to when they did the evaluation. I wanted to make sure that it was accurate. So when we talk about finding somebody who can do the diagnosis, look for somebody. Look for a therapist, my suggestion, who specializes in autism. All right, why would you want to do this? Well, number one, we need to keep in mind that diagnosis with a therapist, that doesn't make you autistic. You were autistic before you went in. That's kind of obvious, right? But I think we need to state that because we tend to self-diagnose ourselves, and that's perfectly okay. But once we get the diagnosis and it comes out positive, then we can say, look, I'm verified, I'm documented, I have my autistic degree. It's kind of like you go to college and university, you get your bachelor's degree, get your master's degree, get your doctorate degree, and now you're a doctor. This is not a degree. It's not that you become autistic after you get your diagnosis. You've always been autistic, or you've always not been autistic. You're just verifying it one way or the other. And I know that's obvious, but I think it needs to be said because we need to keep that in the forefront of our mind. Now, number two is this. Diagnosis dispels lifelong gaslighting. Now, I say it dispels it. Probably a better way to say that is it helps us deal with it. Now, when I say lifelong gaslighting, I don't know about you, but throughout my life, when I was a kid, in high school, young adult, whatever, I'm pushing 70 years old, I've gone through all this. Well, I make videos to help people who are going through it now. But in those days, particularly in school, people would diagnose my behavior. They would try to explain it. And they would say, some of the other kids would say, you kind of act like a space alien, or you act like you're on drugs. Or, what's wrong with you? You never talk. Or why is it this kid is not as interested in sports, whatever, as everyone else? And they'd come up with all kinds of false diagnoses. That's gaslighting. When they would take their opinion and impose it on me or on you, and then you begin to believe it. They may not even be gaslighting you intentionally, but, how could they not know they're doing it? But for example, they may say, you're aloof because you don't make eye contact. I've had people really, particularly when I was a kid, I've had people that, effectively castigated me for not making eye contact. Talking about adults that should know better. I had people who would say that I was just lazy because I didn't perform the way that they thought I should, or that I was a loner. They had all these different diagnoses that were just inaccurate. Basically, all that behavior was primarily related to autism, and every single one of them missed it because, quite frankly, they didn't even know what autism was, or probably even that it was. So people like to explain things. And when you are behaving in such a way, acting in such a way that is not considered normal or is so out of the ordinary, so abnormal, that it becomes very obvious. They have some explanation for that. Their mind goes to work and says, what's wrong with this guy? And they make stuff up. Primarily, they would say, well, speaking of me, they'd say, he's just irresponsible. Or he doesn't get life, or something to that effect. You think you're going to make it on your good looks? Well, I made it and I don't have good looks, so apparently that diagnosis was wrong. But once you get a diagnosis, that dispels all the lifelong gaslighting. So that is so relieving to get that done. Number 3 is it gives you a one-word description of who you are. How do you explain yourself to other people? Well, typically I don't. Because if they don't like me the way that I am, I probably should stay away from these people anyhow. But sometimes you need to tell people that, look, I'm autistic. I'm on the spectrum. I have high-functioning autism. I have Asperger syndrome. It gives me a label. Usually autistic is sufficient, but often you need to say Asperger syndrome so they understand you're high-functioning, you're autistic, but you're high-functioning relative to people, I guess, who are low-functioning. It gives you a simple one-word explanation, a description of why you are the way you are. Number 4, another reason why I think adults should get a diagnosis if you haven't already, is because it assigns meaning and purpose, understanding to your life. Now it all comes together. Now it fits. You have I hate to use the analogy of a jigsaw puzzle, but you got this jigsaw puzzle and it's in the box, before you put it together. When you get a diagnosis, it's like all those pieces fit together perfectly. There they are. It's done. No, that's just mental, right? You've been together all along and you know it, but somehow you get that feeling that everything now pulls together. Everything makes sense. Now you are validated. And that is number 5. It gives us a sense of validation and a sense of resolution. Some people call this closure. I never really liked that term, but yeah, maybe that would fit here too. But it gives us that sense. Look, I'm okay. I'm validated. I'm not crazy. I'm not a space alien. I'm not lazy. I'm not irresponsible. I'm autistic. So it gives me that resolution. It gives me that validation. Number 6 is it gives you a place, I would say a place at the table, where before you were kind of the outcast because you were, the space alien, right? But now, there is a place everybody understands. I mean, most everybody who is thinking and logical and rational and compassionate and empathetic, they understand, this is something that is diagnosable. This is not you being irresponsible. This is you being what you are. You're just following nature's path for you. So it gives you a place at the table, at society's table. There you are. You finally got your own place. Number 7, it gives you a sense of direction, and this may be the most important one. It gives you a sense of direction because now it's no longer guesswork. Now, maybe before you had your diagnosis, you were 99.9% certain you were autistic, that you had Asperger syndrome, but now you know it for certain. There's no second guessing. You went to a qualified professional, to a therapist who knew what he or she was doing, and now it's documented. Typically, they will actually put their diagnosis in writing. So, you got it in writing. You are autistic. Now you can go on with your life knowing who you are and why you do what you do. So it gives you that powerful, and I do mean a powerful sense of direction. See those 2 rectangles on the screen? If you like what you heard and you want to keep talking, just click one of those 2 rectangles and the conversation will continue. But if not, thanks for stopping by and we will see you all next time.